live in interesting times. Today's stories. Qatar and Iran agree de-escalation is the only solution to tensions. Spain's Sanchez promises the government is going in one direction. Students rally in Iraq's Najaf against the government, Iran, and the US. Guaido says new negotiations with Maduro are unlikely. Trudeau says Iran's admission of guilt is a step forward in the plane crash probe. President Trump warns Iran against another massacre of peaceful protesters. Nobel Peace Prize winner Abiy Ahmed responds to Donald Trump's comment that he should have won instead. Plus, finding serenity at Larson's Cove in American Samoa. This is Eagle News coming to you from Washington, D.C., bringing you stories from around the globe. I'm Ace Ramirez. Qatar and Iran agree that de-escalation is the only solution to regional tensions. Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani said on Sunday after meeting Iran's President Hassan Rouhani in Tehran. Rouhani told a news conference, and I quote, "This visit comes at a critical time in the region, and we agreed with the brothers and with His Excellency, the President, that the only solution to these crises is de-escalation from everyone and dialogue. At a time of heightened U.S.-Iranian tensions, he said, dialogue is the only solution to resolve the crisis."
الزيارة هذه تأتي في وقت حساس جدا في المنطقة، واتفقنا مع الأشقاء وأيضا مع فخامة الرئيس بأن الحل الوحيد لحل هذه الأزمات هو أولا تخفيف التصعيد من الجميع، وأيضا الحوار هو الحل الوحيد لحل هذه الأزمات.
Spanish socialist Pedro Sanchez promises that his coalition government, the first in the history of Spanish democracy, with the radical left of Podemos, will go in one direction, although the two parties have had many differences in the past.
Es un gobierno plural, es un gobierno de coalición, pero con un firme propósito de unidad. Es un gobierno que se va a nutrir de ideas plurales, pero que va a caminar en una única dirección, hablará con varias voces, pero siempre con una misma palabra, también por mujeres. España, en consecuencia, no va a volver a ser nunca más un país de mujeres sin voz. Por otro lado, el nuevo gobierno tiene una singularidad que todos ustedes conocen y que la ciudadanía española conoce, y es que es el primer gobierno de coalición de la historia de nuestra democracia. Tendrá que recorrer, en consecuencia, un camino nuevo que va a servir también de referencia.
Thousands of Iraqis rallied across the country on Friday, reviving a months-long protest movement against the government and adding criticisms of both the US and Iran to their chants.
الحشود المليونية من طلاب جامعة الكوفة تؤكد إصرارها وباقيها بالاعتصام السلمي في ساحات الاعتصام في النجف الأشرف، وتؤكد على السلمية ومطلبها واحد اللي هو إجراء انتخابات مبكرة وانتخاب رئيس وزراء صالح من قبل الشعب.
The anti-regime demonstrations had been overshadowed recently by spiraling tensions between Tehran and Washington, which led each country to carry out strikes against the other's assets in Iraq over the last week. Fearing their movement would be eclipsed by war, Iraqi activists posted calls on social media in recent days for a mass protest on Friday, which marked the inverse date 10-1 of the first rallies on October 1st, or 1-10. Iraqis turned out across the country, with hundreds streaming into the capital's Tahrir Square, the epicenter of the anti-regime movement. Thousands more took to the streets in the country's Shiite majority south, including the main protest hotspots of Diwaniyah, Nasiriyah, the oil-rich port city of Basra, and the twin shrine cities of Najaf and Karbala. Protesters in Karbala clashed overnight with security forces, and others were arrested in Basra on Friday. According to the World Bank, Iraq is OPEC's second largest crude producer. But 1 in 5 people live in poverty, and unemployment is rife among youth. Transparency International ranks Iraq the 12th most corrupt country in the world. Outraged by government graft and inequality, Iraqis launched an anti-regime protest movement in October that saw unprecedented numbers hit the streets. But the rallies were met with violence, with nearly 460 people killed and more than 25,000 wounded since they began. The protests began to slip out of the spotlight in late December after a U.S. contractor was killed in a rocket attack on a northern Iraqi military base where American and other international troops are stationed. The U.S. blamed a hardline group in the Hashid al-Shaabi, a military network incorporated into the Iraqi state, and launched an airstrike that killed 25 Hashid fighters. Supporters of the group then besieged the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, and days later, the U.S. killed a top Iranian commander and the Hashid's deputy chief in a drone strike outside the Baghdad airport. In retaliation, Iran launched ballistic missiles on Iraqi bases, where U.S. and coalition forces are stationed. The rallies persisted throughout the developments, but shifted to include calls for Iraq to be spared any conflict between Iran and the U.S., both of them allies of Iraq.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido describes as unlikely the possibility of resuming negotiations with the government of President Nicolas Maduro during a street rally in Caracas. Let's take a look.
Al final del día, nosotros no es que no queremos una negociación, es que la vemos inverosímil. ¿Por qué? Porque los señores estos una y otra vez se han burlado de nosotros, ¿sí o no? La asamblea decide cuándo sesiona. El lunes, el martes, el miércoles, el jueves. Y cuando lo decida, también dónde. Así que con lo que sí contamos es con el respaldo de los venezolanos. Así que, como también aquí hace falta estrategia, ustedes estén muy pendientes del día donde vamos y cuándo vamos a sesionar para que todos juntos vayamos al Parlamento Nacional a abrir las puertas del Palacio Federal y pronto de Miraflores, carajo.
Up next, Trudeau says Iran's admission of guilt is a step forward in the plane crash probe. President Trump warns Iran against another massacre of peaceful protesters. Nobel Peace Prize winner Abiy Ahmed responds to Donald Trump's comment that he should have won instead. Plus, finding serenity at Larson's Cove in American Samoa. Eagle News will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Eagle News coming to you from Washington, D.C. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that Iran admitting it unintentionally shot down a Ukrainian passenger jet near Tehran takes a step forward towards truly having a very credible and thorough investigation.
The Prime Minister also tells reporters he has spoken with U.S. President Trump to call for a de-escalation in tensions in the region. All 176 people aboard Ukrainian Airlines Flight 752, including many Canadian citizens, were killed when the aircraft was hit by a missile.
What Iran has admitted to is very serious. Shooting down a civilian aircraft is horrific. Iran must take full responsibility. Canada will not rest until we get the accountability, justice, and closure that the families deserve. I had a chance to sit with some of the families of the victims. They are hurt, angry, and grieving. They want answers. They want justice. The fact that Iran has now taken responsibility for the downing of that aircraft means that it is likely that they will be full participants and fully allow a credible, independent international investigation with all partners involved. We still have work to do to ensure that happens, but the question of responsibility, I think, takes us a step forward towards truly having a very credible and thorough investigation. I've had a number of conversations with the U.S. President recently and will continue to. The reality is there have been significant tensions in that region for a long time, and what we are calling for now is a de-escalation to ensure that there are no more tragic accidents or loss of civilian life, as well as moving forward to the peace and stability that is deserved by everyone in the region.
Trudeau demanded Saturday that Iran provide Canada with full clarity on the shoot-down near Tehran of a Ukrainian airliner that killed all 176 aboard, including many Canadian citizens. Trudeau said he made the demand in a call with Iran's President Hassan Rouhani, who admitted earlier Saturday that the airliner was mistakenly shot down by Iranian missiles.
U.S. President Donald Trump warned Iran against cracking down on protests that broke out after admitted shooting down an airliner by mistake, killing all 176 people aboard.
Trump tweeted, and I quote, "The government of Iran must allow human rights groups to monitor and report facts from the ground on the ongoing protests by the Iranian people." In apparent allusion to an Iranian crackdown on street protests that broke out in November, Trump said, and I quote, "There cannot be another massacre of peaceful protesters, nor an internet shutdown. The world is watching." Amnesty International has said it left more than 300 people dead.
Trump told the people of Iran Saturday that he stands by them in this monitoring protests that broke out after Tehran admitted it shot down an airliner, killing 176 people. In other news, after President Donald Trump said that he believes he deserves the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize, Abiy Ahmed, the winner, and Ethiopian Prime Minister replied, and I quote, "If Donald Trump wants to complain, he should go to Oslo, not Ethiopia."
To be honest, I don't have any clue about the criteria, how the Nobel Committee select an individual for the prize. So the issue of President Trump must go to the Nobel Prize Committee. I'm not aware how they elect or select someone to provide the prize. And I'm not working for the prize. I'm working that peace is a very critical thing for our region. And if they recognize, and if President Trump complained, it must go to Oslo, not to Ethiopia. Thank you very much.
Let's head over now to the South Pacific and join Eagle News correspondent Ariane Torres as she explores Larson's Cove, a small and secluded beach that has also been gaining popularity among the locals in American Samoa. Let's take a look.
Waitangi is located on the southern tip of Tutuila Island, only 12 miles or 19 kilometers from the capital city of Pago Pago. The coastline is made up of ragged cliffs and molten lava rocks, with only a few patches of sand. One of Waitangi's major attractions is Pongamaa Crater, which is listed as a National Marine Sanctuary. Another is the legendary place called Turtle and Shark, located along the coastline. However, there's only one location that until recently has been one of American Samoa's best-kept secrets. The location is Larson's Cove. But be warned, this small and secluded beach can be difficult to find. you will have to park at Turtle and Shark and then hike another 30 to 45 minutes, going down a small hill and through a plantation. After crossing the plantation, you will find the stairs leading down to the cove. Open year-round and free to the public, Larson's Cove has some of the best sand on the island. It is soft and white, perfect for relaxing or simply enjoying a picnic. The ocean water here is calm and shallow, ideal for small children. Larson's Cove is just one example of island life that longtime resident Heidi describes.
So if you're planning to come over here, be ready for the island life. You know, there's lots of beaches. If you're fond of water sports, we have it here. If you're fond of snorkeling or just swimming or spending time at the beach, this is a good place. It's actually like a small island paradise. But that's something for you to know, so you know what to expect here.
Reporting from Pango Pango in American Samoa, I am Arian Torres, always one with 25.
Such a beautiful place. Thanks, Arian. That is today's Eagle News. Join us again tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on facebook.com/eaglenews. I'm Ace Ramirez, 1 with 25.